into this. You know, yesterday we did almost the entire episode was geared towards this rally in Madison Square Garden. And people were already pretty outraged by yesterday morning, but it really exploded what this comedian Hinchcliffe had delivered there. But it is wrong to just simply say this is about this one guy doing some racist jokes. It is because it fits into a narrative of a now 8-year campaign by Donald Trump to demonize, let's say, Mexicans, immigrants, in many respects, Latinos, black people, women. He launched his campaign by saying that Mexico's sending over rapists. You'll recall that he believed that there were judges who couldn't hear his cases because they were of Mexican descent. He spent a lot of time bashing people like Colin Kaepernick. I mean, we forget about all this stuff, but half of his presidency was essentially picking out random black people to criticize. And he became a Republican rising star by saying that Barack Obama was not really American. And, all his birtherism. I mean, it fits in that narrative. And then you lay on top of that the fact that they have this America First rally at Madison Square Garden. And the last time there was ever an America First rally there, they were all in literal Nazi uniforms.
85 years later. I mean, they're obviously trying to evoke that. And then when people like us point it out, they go, oh, you soft liberals. But behind the scenes, we know that this was exactly the kind of environment that they were trying to engender at the rally.
It is now being reported that Hinchcliffe basically did his set the night before in a New York comedy club called The Stand.
To workshop it,
as you would. Here it is. Trump rally comedian workshop racist Puerto Rico line at New York City Comedy Club the night before. And the best part about that is that it bombed there too. Yet
the Manhattan audience.
Yeah,
right,
the Manhattan audience.
Liberals.
And yes, a bunch of liberals there. And he said, this is what he said. The joke did not draw laughs, just a handful of awkward chuckles. Hinchcliffe told the audience that he would be performing at the Madison Square Garden rally the next day and said multiple times during his routine that he would get a better reaction tomorrow at the rally. So here's the point, though. And we should also say one other point is that it's also being reported that he, at one point during his set, wanted to make a joke about how Kamala Harris was the C word. And funny stuff. But weirdly, the campaign said, no, that's a bridge too far. So
we're going to censor you.
So they're not only being censorious, of course, they're also signing off on all the racist jokes that he did.
The Bulwark says in that article that the drafts for all of the speakers were submitted to the campaign beforehand. So all of the right-wing conservative apologists who were saying you can't hold Donald Trump to the standard, he wasn't the one who said these words. Well, his campaign was able to take one part of his routine out because they thought that would be a bridge too far. But the fact that Puerto Rico was a garbage island, they thought that was A-okay.
And here's a clip of just outside the CBS spoke to some Puerto Rican voters after Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. This is where does she do this? Do we know the location?
I think this is in Philly, if I'm not mistaken.
This is CBS News' Lilia Luciano.
Backlash to Tony Hinchcliffe's comments was quick.
That was the wrong thing to say. Why he said it, I don't know.
Superstars like Bad Bunny, J-Lo, and Ricky Martin took to social media and their hundreds of millions of followers, blasting out support for Vice President Harris. In battleground Pennsylvania, where more than half of all eligible Latino voters are Puerto Rican, Jean Marie Lugo says the joke sealed her vote for Harris.
With the comments that happened yesterday, I finally said, no, I have to be in the right side of the history.
She has lived in Philadelphia for 20 years and was leaning towards Trump until the comments.
Why did that make you decide on your vote?
I think it was not respectful. And yesterday I said they're making fun of us in our faces. Puerto Rico is not a trash can or a garbage island in the middle of the ocean. Puerto Rico is more than that.
Puerto Ricans, like most Latinos, have traditionally supported Democrats by wide margins. Former President Trump has made gains in recent years by focusing on economic issues, but at a local corner shop.
The guy made a joke of it, but you know he meant it.
So you feel like what the comedian said reflects what Trump
He went through him. You see what he did last time he went down there? Throw the paper towel. Like we were like
Trash.
we trash.
If he would have been strong enough, he would have said, yo, it's not funny.
And while I have heard from Puerto Ricans and Latinos who dismissed it as a joke, the issue has raised a huge deal of interest. One of the top searches on Google over the last 24 hours is whether Puerto Ricans can vote for the president. The answer is yes for those of us living in the 50 states, and that's more than Puerto Ricans on the island. Nora?
Yeah, you're not even allowed to actually vote if you're in Puerto Rico. You got to actually live in the States. But there's a lot of Puerto Ricans who live in the States. Also, I mean, here's the thing why this is resonating, I think, so much amongst the Puerto Rican community and broadly speaking, is that one of the answers is when this guy's at that comedy club and he says it's going to do better tomorrow night. He knows that while with this audience here in New York City, these parochial, close-minded folks in New York City, he knows that it's going to be receptive with this particular group of people in New York City. And I think the thing that this showed people is that this isn't just, well, Donald Trump, he shoots from the hip and he says things and, he says it in an awkward way, how they've dismissed every single thing that he said for years as not being, listen to what he said, don't listen to what he says, listen to what he means and this and that. But what this comedian showed to people was that this is not just about Trump. This is about a broader movement. This is about a broader culture. We've all gathered at Madison Square Garden, the home that Nazis did in the last America First rally. And we're going to go here and we're going to do jokes. And, I've listened to the full, 12 minutes segment of it. He did make a joke about Trump, about how tough he was, about how he asked for his shoes when he got, during the assassination. And I saw somebody put up a Don Rickles thing, when
he retweeted that.
He did he?
Yeah.
Don Rickles when he was, with Reagan. But if you watch that, all the jokes, Rickles says one thing about, hey, there's a little black kid here. It says blah, blah, blah. And then every other joke is attacking George Shultz, who was there, who's attacking, Herbert Walker Bush, Reagan, and going around and hitting everybody there. You cannot tell me that you're sitting in the midst of Madison Square Garden, surrounded by Trump voters, all the QAnon folks, all the sort of the no-necks from Long Island, whatever it is, and you can't come up with a single joke about any of the people there. The best you can do is there's a black guy with a funny hat. We actually carved a watermelon before. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You want to say I joked about everybody? That's insane. It's insane.
Do a Giuliani joke.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Rudy Giuliani's here. And then that writes about a freaking million punchlines after that.
Yeah. And to your point about the C word thing, I mean, the Trump campaign knew about it, and clearly the voters are making that connection. It is interesting because we know that Reagan, Trump, right? These are celebrities that became presidents for under the Republican ticket. And there is something about the base of the Republican Party being able to follow a cult of personality because Trump has these idiosyncrasies and this charismatic way where when it's laid bare without that celebrity figure, saying those things, it's harder for people to excuse. We saw it with DeSantis flailing out in his campaign. We see it in the unfavorables about J.D. Vance, and in hypothetical matchups between Kamala Harris and J.D. Vance, Kamala Harris would be winning more. I mean, again, it's hypothetical. We don't know. But the point is just that the appetite for these kinds of nativist, extremely racist politics, I think when you take away Donald Trump and everything about him and the force that he's been in our culture for decades and a political force for 10 years at this point, if not more, it becomes a little bit more clear to people. And so we'll see, fingers crossed, toes crossed, all this kind of stuff. But it is encouraging to see people respond in this manner.
Here is the best part about it, though. Yesterday, I speculated that this Hinchcliffe guy, because he comes out of the whole mothership, the Joe Rogan area, that Rogan must have suggested him to the campaign. Now, remember, this isn't just a simple rally that is taking place in the summer of 2024. This is literally the height. Like, this is the peak.
Closing argument.
This is the closing argument. This is the the martini shot, whatever it is. I mean, this is it. This was supposed to be the
October
creme
surprise.
to the creme, and they had this guy there because this was part of the ethos of this night. This was not an outlier. This was a encapsulation of it, and they went to Rogan. Now, Rogan pals around with people like Jared Kushner and whatnot, and probably Don Jr., and they're like, who should we get? This is what we speculated yesterday, and then this gets dug up from, I guess, over the summer, mid-August. It's only about a month and a half ago.
Episode 21
with Adam Ray, and this is not direct proof that this was a Joe Rogan special, but
Trump's does. Trump is looking at, like, to make a little put down, or he's just quick in that way.
Listen,
so
he is quick in that way. Also, it would behoove him to hire a few great comics to just tour with him and just write one-liners about all these different fucking people.
I mean,
if he could remember them, I know he likes to go off his own head, but
Sure.
if he could remember a few Hinchcliffe bangers, if he hires Hinchcliffe to take him on the road. Do you know how fucking insane that would be?
Yeah, dude.
Hinchcliffe writing bangers for Trump to shit on people.
Comedy cures, and it also is like sometimes what kind of just pushes things over the top.
The
Dude.
thing
I couldn't have said it better. It really is
show.
one of those things that pushes things over the top. Yeah, can you imagine? That would be insane. It really would be insane. A couple of bangers there.
The Hinchcliffe bangers. About people.
The Hinchcliffe banged, and we'll see.
They're so up their own butts.
It's really amazing. It's really amazing when you're in that hermetic bubble. You cannot tell that your farts stink.
I mean,
you're just like, wait, what? Why is everybody crinkling their nose when they come in here?
But isn't this the most beautiful kind of full circle moment for the right-wing comedy white bro space, where they've insisted that they're the only truth tellers left in
They save
society,
comedy.
as there's like these incredible comics who are LGBTQ, who are different races, who are coming up and saying things using more experimental on stage, all this kind of stuff. Or you can be a white guy like Stavros and have great politics and still be funny as hell. And these guys pretend like they're the only ones who can tell the truth. Well, we'll see.
To be fair, that stuff would have been a lot funnier if they hadn't censored him and allowed him to use the C word when he was talking
I can't
about
believe
Harris. So,
censorship coming from inside the house.
really rough. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.